Let's talk about something that a lot of car buyers find out the hard way, usually when they're already sitting at a dealership service counter with their wallet wide open and their eyes getting wider by the second. Hyundai has built an incredible reputation over the past decade. The cars look sharp, the warranty is legendary, and the sticker price feels like a steal compared to Honda or Toyota. So naturally, millions of people buy one thinking they've cracked the code on affordable driving. But here's what the brochure won't tell you. The purchase price is just the beginning. What happens after you drive off that lot is a completely different story, and it's one that doesn't always have a happy ending for your bank account. Now, before anyone comes at me in the comments, this is not a Hyundai hate video. These are genuinely solid cars with a lot going for them. But solid doesn't mean cheap to maintain, and that distinction matters enormously when you're trying to budget for a vehicle you plan to keep for 5, 7, or 10 years. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on the real costs of owning a Hyundai. The ones that don't show up in any comparison chart, the ones that catch owners completely off guard. By the time this video is done, you're going to look at that affordable Hyundai price tag very differently. The warranty that sounds amazing has a catch nobody talks about. Hyundai's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty is one of the best marketing tools in the automotive industry. It sounds bulletproof. It sounds like Hyundai is so confident in their engines and transmissions that they're willing to back them up for a decade. And on paper, that's impressive. But what most buyers don't realize until it's too late is that this warranty comes loaded with conditions that can void it faster than you think. Hyundai requires you to maintain the vehicle according to their specific maintenance schedule. And critically, they want documentation proving you did it. That means keeping every single service receipt, every oil change record, every filter replacement, all of it. If you go to a shop that doesn't properly log the work, or if you do the maintenance yourself without keeping meticulous records, you could find yourself in a nightmare scenario where Hyundai denies a major engine claim because you can't prove you changed the oil on time. And that scenario isn't hypothetical. It's happened to thousands of owners. There's also the matter of the engine oil consumption issue, which affected a significant number of Hyundai and Kia engines, particularly the Theta II GDI and certain new engines. When owners started experiencing sudden engine failures and seizures, some were told their warranty didn't apply because of maintenance record gaps or because they were slightly outside the mileage window for a covered inspection. A warranty that only pays out under perfect conditions is not the safety net it appears to be. It's more like a safety net with some very strategically placed holes. Hyundai's engine problems are more widespread than the company admits. This brings us directly to the elephant in the room, and it's a big one. Hyundai has faced serious, widespread, and well-documented engine problems that have affected hundreds of thousands of vehicles. The Theta II engine issue is arguably one of the most significant reliability crises in modern automotive history for a mainstream brand, and yet a surprising number of buyers still don't know about it before they purchase. The problem centers around manufacturing defects that caused metal debris to contaminate engine oil passages, starving the engine of lubrication and leading to sudden catastrophic failure. In some cases, engines caught fire. Hyundai and Kia faced multiple recalls, class action lawsuits, and government investigations. The NHTSA pushed hard for action, and while recalls were issued, the execution of those recalls was messy. Some owners waited months for parts. Others were given software updates instead of full engine replacements, only to have problems persist. And for many, the battle to get Hyundai to honor a legitimate repair turned into a months-long ordeal involving lawyers and consumer protection agencies. Here's why this matters for maintenance costs specifically. Even if your particular Hyundai model isn't directly caught up in these recalls, the brand's track record with certain engine families has created a used parts market problem, a technician expertise gap, and a general uncertainty that affects how mechanics approach Hyundai repairs. When a shop has to be extra cautious, extra diagnostic time gets billed. When parts are in short supply due to recall demand, prices go up. These ripple effects hit regular owners who are just trying to do routine maintenance, and they add up in ways that are genuinely hard to anticipate. Dealer-only parts in the markup trap that drains your wallet. One of the quietest but most consistent ways Hyundai ownership costs more than people expect is through parts pricing and parts availability. Hyundai, like many modern manufacturers, uses a growing number of proprietary components that either aren't available from aftermarket suppliers or are significantly inferior in quality when they are. This forces you back toward the dealership, and dealership parts pricing operates on a completely different planet from what you'd pay at an independent shop. Take something as routine as a brake job. On many Hyundai models, particularly newer ones with advanced safety systems, the brakes are tied into electronic stability and ABS systems that require recalibration after replacement. That recalibration typically requires dealer-level scan tools. An independent mechanic with a standard OBD2 reader simply can't do it properly. So, your cheap brake job at the local garage suddenly becomes a dealer appointment, and dealer labor rates in most markets run between $130 and $180 per hour. A brake job that would cost $250 at an independent shop can easily run $450 to $600 at a Hyundai dealership once you factor in parts markup and that additional calibration time. This same dynamic plays out with steering components, transmission servicing, and anything touching the newer Hyundai infotainment and safety suite. The more tech they pack into these cars, and they're packing in a lot, the more dealer-dependent routine maintenance becomes. And dealer-dependent maintenance is, almost by definition, expensive maintenance. The transmission costs. That will make your jaw drop. Hyundai's dual-clutch transmissions deserve their own section because they represent one of the most significant hidden cost risks for Hyundai owners, and they've been a source of serious frustration across multiple model lines. The 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, used in the Elantra, Sonata, Veloster, and several other models, has been plagued by shuddering, hesitation, jerking at low speeds, and in more severe cases, complete failure. These issues are especially pronounced in stop-and-go driving, which is unfortunately the exact driving condition that most commuters deal with every single day. Hyundai issued software updates attempting to address the shuddering behavior. But for many owners, these updates provided only partial relief. The fundamental issue with a wet dual-clutch transmission being asked to behave like a traditional automatic in city traffic is a mechanical one, and no software patch fully resolves it. When these transmissions fail, and a portion of them do before the 100,000-mile mark, the repair bill is staggering. A replacement dual-clutch transmission for a Hyundai Elantra or Sonata can run anywhere from $3,500 to over $5,000 at a dealership, including labor. Even if the repair falls within warranty, you're still looking at significant inconvenience, potential rental car costs, and the anxiety of not knowing whether the replacement will hold. The broader transmission issue also includes the older 6-speed automatics in some Hyundai models, which require fluid changes at intervals that Hyundai sometimes calls lifetime fill, meaning no change needed. Many independent transmission specialists strongly disagree with this designation and recommend fluid changes every 30,000 to 45,000 miles in real-world driving conditions. Skipping those changes can accelerate wear. Following the independent specialist advice adds a maintenance cost that wasn't in your original budget. Either path carries a risk, and that tension is a direct result of Hyundai's maintenance guidance not fully aligning with what experienced technicians see in the field. The electric and hybrid Hyundai battery situation is a ticking clock. Hyundai has gone all in on electrification, and the Ioniq lineup, along with the Tucson and Santa Fe hybrids and plug-in hybrids, has attracted a massive wave of new buyers. These buyers are often motivated partly by the promise of lower fuel costs and lower maintenance. And on the fuel side, that's often true. But the battery situation introduces a long-term financial risk that most buyers significantly underestimate. The high-voltage battery packs in Hyundai's hybrid and electric vehicles are expensive. Replacement costs for a full battery pack in the Ioniq 5 or Ioniq 6, should it fail outside of warranty, have been estimated at anywhere from $15,000 to over $20,000. Hyundai does offer an extended battery warranty, 10 years or 100,000 miles for the main traction battery. But the same documentation and condition requirements that apply to the powertrain warranty apply here too. And battery degradation, which is a natural and inevitable process, is not covered under warranty in most cases. When your EV's range drops noticeably after 6 or 7 years, that's considered normal operation, not a defect. You're not getting a new battery, you're getting a reduced range car. For hybrid owners, there's also the cooling system complexity to consider. These vehicles run dual cooling loops, one for the combustion engine and one for the battery and power electronics. More cooling systems mean more coolant flushes, more hoses, more pumps, and more potential failure points. Each additional system adds to your long-term maintenance exposure, and when something does go wrong in the hybrid powertrain, the diagnostic process is more involved and therefore more expensive than on a conventional vehicle. Hyundai's recommended service intervals are quietly getting shorter. Here's something subtle but financially significant. Over the past several years, Hyundai has revised its recommended maintenance intervals on several models in ways that increase the frequency of required service visits. Oil change intervals, for example, vary quite a bit depending on the engine and driving conditions, while some modern engines from other manufacturers have moved toward 10,000 or even 15,000-mile oil change intervals. Certain Hyundai engines, particularly those with GDI direct injection, benefit from more frequent changes because of the higher carbon buildup associated with that fuel delivery technology. GDI engines inject fuel directly into the cylinder rather than into the intake port, which means fuel never washes over the intake valves to keep them clean. Over time, carbon deposits build up on those valves in ways that older port-injected engines simply didn't experience. The symptoms include rough idling, hesitation, and reduced fuel economy. The solution is an intake valve cleaning procedure, which is not a cheap service. Depending on the shop and the severity of the buildup, this job can run between $300 and $700, and it's not a one-time fix. If you drive a GDI Hyundai long enough, you're going to deal with this more than once. The combination of shorter oil change intervals, periodic carbon cleaning, and the additional services that come with modern tech-heavy vehicles means that your annual maintenance spend on a Hyundai is likely higher than the simplified comparison charts suggest. Those charts compare oil, tires, and brakes. They don't account for intake cleaning, transmission fluid debates, multi-point electronic calibrations, and the slowly compounding cost of dealer dependency. The resale value drop quietly punishes you on the back end. We've been talking about what you spend maintaining a Hyundai, but there's another dimension to the total cost of ownership that often gets overlooked: what you get back when it's time to sell. Hyundai has made significant strides in resale value over the years, and models like the Tucson and Santa Fe now hold their value reasonably well in the short term. But the brand still trails Toyota and Honda in long-term resale value, and that gap represents real money. The engine reliability concerns we discussed earlier have made a permanent mark on the used Hyundai market. Buyers doing their research, and more buyers are doing their research than ever before, are aware of the Theta II issues, the dual clutch complaints, and the documentation requirements for warranty claims. That awareness drives offers down. Private party buyers negotiate harder. Dealers trade them in at lower values. CarMax and similar buyers apply risk discounts. Every dollar you don't recover on resale is a dollar that belongs in your total cost of ownership calculation. And for a lot of Hyundai owners, that number is higher than they anticipated when they drove off the lot. This is especially true if you're buying a used Hyundai as a cost-saving move. A used Hyundai at a price that looks like a bargain compared to a comparable used Toyota might actually be priced exactly right, once you account for higher expected maintenance costs, higher risk of expensive repairs, and a further resale value decline down the road. The savings on the front end can evaporate pretty quickly when you run the full numbers. The bottom line. Here's where we land on all of this. Hyundai makes genuinely appealing cars. The design has been excellent for years, the technology is competitive, and the driving experience across most of the lineup is solid. For a lot of people, a Hyundai is a perfectly reasonable choice. But the narrative that Hyundai is the smart money pick for long-term affordable ownership, that narrative deserves a serious reality check. The real cost of owning a Hyundai includes the dealer dependency that comes with proprietary systems, the very real financial exposure from engine and transmission issues that affect a non-trivial percentage of vehicles, the creeping costs of GDI carbon maintenance, the complexity and risk of hybrid battery systems, the documentation burden required to actually use that legendary warranty, and the quiet resale value penalty that collects on the back end of ownership. None of these things are secrets exactly, but they're not front and center when you're sitting in a showroom looking at a beautiful new Elantra with a monthly payment that feels manageable. Informed car ownership means looking at the full picture, not just the sticker price and the warranty headline. Do the math before you buy. Research your specific model's known issues. Build a realistic maintenance budget that accounts for dealer service rates and the possibility of a major repair outside the warranty window. And if you're buying used, factor in the documentation gap that could make warranty claims complicated for you as a second or third owner. A Hyundai can still be the right car for you, but going in with eyes wide open means you won't be blindsided by costs that surprise the people who came before you. And that kind of preparation is worth every minute you spend doing it. Drive smart, budget smarter, and we'll see you in the next one.